can see exactly what my house looks like from the sky.
Wow.
I can see the cars that were there when that satellite went over. Same thing for Manuel's house, zoom, 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 right on. The only one that didn't really give great information, because it's a weird street system the lake house is on, was that one. It showed the block though, but it didn't provide an address. The other two actually showed a numerical address. This one just showed roof floor to the, it's weird the way they got the system. They really don't have addresses up there, but it showed right there on the block, so that you zoomed in enough, it wouldn't take hard to find that. It was eye-opening for me.
Wow.
Because this is something I try to stay on the forefront of stuff, and I missed this EXIF data. And tell you how easy it is to download. Who knows of Mozilla Firefox? It's an internet browser, free. A lot of people use it, right? I prefer it over Internet Explorer. It's my browser of choice. And with Mozilla, they have these things, add-ons. Y'all use add-ons for different things. You can, tools and different. You can simply search in add-ons as you're looking for new tools to use, EXIF Reader. You get EXIF Reader, you download the EXIF Reader, and now you have an EXIF Reader on your Mozilla. So now all you have to do is pick a picture that's on Facebook, right-click, save as, bring it to your computer, and once it's in your computer, you can hit that EXIF Reader through your tools, and then simply take the picture you want to read the EXIF data on, which is the picture you just right-clicked and saved as, and put in a nice little file folder on somebody, and now it reveals their information. Now, if it was taken by a simple digital camera, all it's going to say is this was taken by a cyber shot Sony camera, blah, 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 no coordinates. But it was taken by the iPhones and stuff, especially the ones, you can tell, you can see them in school when they're sneaking around in a school hallway and they're like doing that little pose. You can tell though what shots are probably going to be your phone shots when you look through a Facebook account. You can pretty well tell. So now all you got to do is pick and choose those and hit that one, and now it tells you, it won't tell you the phone. It'll tell you this was taken by an Apple iPhone 4, and da-da-da-da-da, and then all of a sudden there's your coordinates. So that is startling information. It really opened my eyes, because I'm very careful. Because I've been through all these classes, I've done investigations, I'm very careful about what we post. And then something as innocent as taking pictures on the iPhone of your kids, bam, there it is. Now, there's a trade-off on ways you can prevent this from happening on your cameras. The trade-off is you can stop it from being embedded in there, but you do away with your GPS. You have to disable your GPS to stop that from happening. So, do you want the GPS for convenience? Do you want it in case you need it for 911 issues? Or if you're going to be taking pictures, and it's something, if you remember and can, discipline yourself that, all right, I'm taking pictures now, let me go in here, settings, and stop the GPS, fine. But it's just something you need to be aware of. If you disable GPS, it'll be just like the digital camera and nothing's going to be there. Now, keep in mind, that's with pictures, photographs, digital images. Video camcorders and stuff like that do not have EXIF data, because they never have over the years, so they don't have it embedded in there. So your EXIF data is not included in the digital camera. So if you're taking videos, you can kind of breathe a sigh of relief on that. Just again, be aware of what's in the background of what you're posting and stuff. Is there any questions about the EXIF data or anything like that?
So there's no way when you're uploading the pictures to keep all that data
No.
off the upload?
It's part of the picture. It stays with it, and basically the only time it will change is if you had Photoshop and you started altering the picture, it will show in the EXIF data that some alterations have been made, but it will never go away. It'll always be embedded with that one image.
Yeah.
It's kind of like its fingerprint. It goes along, it never goes away.
Okay.
And so try, if it's something that, if it's not being posted and stuff like that, is the problem is you can be very careful and you can keep yours private and stuff, but then your friends are able to view it. But what are your friends doing with that? Is it a cool picture that they want to share with somebody else? And now that data, that information is still being spread around. So that's kind of the danger zone of that. Because all you got to do is right-click Save As, and the picture can be saved on somebody else's desktop and stuff like that, and that same information is brought over. That's the hardest thing. We remember so much that the old Polaroid or the 35 millimeter, if there was a picture we didn't like or something and we want to get rid of it, we could just throw it away, burn it, just cut it up, and it's done. The problem with the internet, and I'll get back to this when I talk about some pictures and stuff. Digital images, once they're posted on the internet, they're never really retrievable. Because once you send it on email or anywhere else, it's out there and it's pretty well out there. You can be as safe and be aware of this with your children, but if all their friends have the same camera and they're visiting the house taking pictures of this, or they're out there hanging out and stuff, then that information's out there too. So it's something, because not a lot of people know about the EXIF data. I didn't know about it, and that's something that communication, and really that word needs to be spread on that, so that when people come into your house, they've hopefully done the same thing, and they're not giving out all that information. Because that's scarier than worrying about taking a picture of the front of your house or taking other shots. Now you're actually showing, this is my exact coordinates of where I took this picture. So it's scary. And like I said, it's not a hard thing to get if you know how to work Mozilla, you know how to work add-ons. It's very self-explanatory. That's a free one. There's hundreds of them out there that you can get more complicated and stuff. Like I said, it's a tool that they were using initially, photographers were using, and it's just got some add-ons and stuff to it that people have started using for bad reasons. Yes?
And when they're friends, even though they might have a private account, like you said, they can actually take my picture and they can upload it and save it to their computer and send it out. A friend of mine had, we didn't have a mutual friend, but he thought that this picture was funny on her Facebook page, and he texted me that picture just so I could see it. Even though I'm not her friend, I now have her picture on my phone. So you all need to keep that in mind.
And that happens a lot with each other. They photo sharing, they're sharing each other's pictures and stuff like that. What's really fun is one day you put your name in Google and you see your profile pic on Facebook come up. Bam, that's my picture. Like I've done Toby Spencer before and had my profile pic with me and my sons on the front porch of the in-laws house. There it is. Fortunately, that picture was taken with a regular camera. It wasn't done with an iPhone or anything, so there's nothing there other than the front porch, which looks like the front porch of so many houses you can't get a lot of information on it. But, you know, that's something to keep in mind. It's something to communicate with your friends too. Hey, don't be sharing my stuff. I'm posting out there so you can watch it and stuff like that, but don't share it, respect me kind of thing. Because like I said, you can be private, you can be doing everything you want to do, but then what are they sending? And what are they showing other people about you and stuff like that? You know, the sad thing also is, like I said, everybody has a camera now with them at all times, and so they can take pictures all the time. You may not even know when you've been photographed. Somebody could be watching you doing something silly in the cafeteria and go, look at her. And that's just unfortunately how it is. This is the video image world, digital image world. Our privacy has been shifted away. When you think about the Google apps, you can type in your address and somebody can see what your backyard looks like very clearly. I mean, there's just no privacy. It's kind of a trade-off. Technology gives us a lot of good things, but then we're trading off a lot of privacy. The other thing, Twitter and Facebook. I like them. I don't have anything against them for used properly. But on that trade-off thing, talked about giving up personal information. My kids that are in here, how have y'all check in all the time? Are y'all good or do y'all check in? I'm at Starbucks today. I do too. My wife was always doing this. She would check in. I'm checking in at the doctor's office. I'm checking in here. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You don't want to know all this. But here's a trade-off, especially just think, we'll go away from kids for a minute, adults, when you do this. If somebody kind of vaguely knows where you live, and it's not just the perverts that are doing this. If I'm a burglar, and I've seen all the pictures you've been taking, and you got a nice looking house, and you reveal to me pretty much your personal life that I'm checking in here, I'm going here, I'm doing this, well, you pretty well tell me a good opportunity for something is.
Your house is empty.
Yeah.
Your house is empty.
I'm checking in Destin, Florida for spring break. Woo-hoo! Nobody's home. It's something that burglars, the criminals, I'm telling you, they just like cops are trying to stay on the forefront, just like you as parents are trying to stay on the forefront and knowing what's going on technology-wise. The criminals are even there more. That's their job. Their job is to find vulnerabilities and rob and steal identities and all that stuff. So they're right there waiting, and they're learning. Every time technology is developed, they're there with it. So checking in all the time and stuff like that. They find out enough information, just like how the bad guys going after kids can. These burglars can do the same thing to you and go, this would be a good time to rob that nice little house in Brooks. So just keep that in mind on adults, is how much you're sharing with the world too. That's why we post our pictures from vacation when we get back and stuff like that. As much as I want to share about it, we're on this nice little cruise ship this week. Get jealous. It's telling them, you got a week, you mess with my house. So something to think about when it comes time for that. And just in general, when you're checking in, going back to students, you're checking in at different locations. You're again giving that person kind of a map of where you live. You may not be telling them where you live, but if you're checking in Starbucks in Fayetteville, you're checking in at, let's see, Target going shopping, or one of the malls or something like that. You're kind of giving them that little net they can start casting in on. So it's important that you're aware of that. I'm running at McCurry Park today. Again, kind of giving them that little thing. Just like if we were going after a criminal and you put those little red dots on a map to try to do a pattern, they can do the same thing and just home in on that. So that's the one feature on Facebook I'm not a big fan of, just because you're giving up so much of your information, giving up so much of when you're doing this, where you're going and stuff like that, that you just letting everybody know. And like I said, even though it's sent to private, people can still view it different ways, and just something to be aware of. Now, Facebook and stuff, here's one of the big things, and I'm going to come over here to the girls. Because the girls are the worst on this one. How many friends? Y'all have Facebook accounts? How many friends do you have?
Like
1,000?
200. 400 something.
400?
Oh, guys.
500. Okay, so we have a nice range here, bottom around 200, we're in the thousands. Okay, here's my question. How many of those friends have you met face to face? All of them? 50% of them? 20%? Or how many of those 1,000 do you know face to face? 80%. So there's a 20% you've never met face to face.
98.
So there's a 2% you haven't met face to face.
Yeah.
Probably 80.
So another 20% haven't met face to face.
80%.
So right there. So you have a majority that you've met.
Oh, I'd say they're wrong. I would say it's probably closer to 50%.
Because they've never met face to
anybody.
face.
You've never seen, I mean, you may have seen them, but you're not personal friends with them.
And the reason I'm picking on y'all versus the boys, I know the boys will probably do the same thing, just not to the there. It seems to be more prevalent in girls as they have the higher numbers than the boys do. And just going back to what I talked about first, when I talked about internet safety, I was an undercover officer when we did our ICAC stuff. I played a role good enough to get a number of arrests of being anything between a 12-year-old boy, 14-year-old girl, 15-year-old boy. Played that role on Facebook, or on chat rooms, MySpace, Facebook was not really there yet then. I played that role really well, that I arrested people because they were bad people coming after me. If I was able to do that, you think the bad guys know enough about you guys and what you think is popular and cool to be able to pull off that they're a 16-year-old girl? And now they're on your friends list. What information do they have about you? Now, because you may have been really good and you said it to private, but now they're on your friends list. They have a lot, don't they? All those pictures, all those videos, stuff when you're complaining about Miss So-and-so's class, it was really hard today. Now I can start Googling this teacher's name, and they have a website, classjump.com. Whitewater uses that as a tool, so you can eventually, it's not hard to find them. My word of caution is just to keep in mind that things are not always as they appear on the internet. It's not hard to, and you may think that they know all the same stuff that's going on right now. It's not hard to research. Watch, I heard it earlier, the Disney Channel for a couple weeks, and all of a sudden you know what big shows are, and this is more the middle school age. Watch MTV, start Googling the different YouTube videos that are trending.